President Trump spoke with Governor Walz directly this morning, and he has outlined a clear and simple path to restoring law and order in Minnesota. Number one, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number two, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota.
Now, if true, that's good news, but trust but verify. Unfortunately, the Democratic Party, along with the legacy media mob, is once again weaponizing and politicizing a person's death. Now, if we're going to fully understand this weekend, we need to go back a full 5 years. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, and Democrats, night after night, right here on this program for 4 straight years. We showed you all of these videos, millions and millions and millions of illegals, 12 million plus from over 200 countries, flooding into our country unvetted. And as you look at these videos, I want you to listen to Joe and Kamala and Mayorkas saying to the American people for 4 years over and over again, lying, the border's closed, the border's secure. You want to know how we got where we are this weekend? You got to start here.
Efforts to secure the border, southern border, is working.
It is my testimony that the border is secure.
We agree that the border is secure.
That sounds to most folks like a crisis.
Well, look, it's way down now. We've now gotten control.
The border is closed.
Nor could I have been clearer and continue to be so, which is the border is closed.
Would you call the border secure?
I think that there is no question that we have to do what the president and I asked Congress to do. Is the first request we made. Pass a bill to create a pathway to citizenship. The border is secure.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
I haven't been to Europe. I haven't been to China either. Over 12 million plus unvetted illegal immigrants, known terrorists among them, murderers among them, rapists, pedophiles, other violent criminals, cartel members, gang members, drug dealers. That's who came into this country. Donald Trump was elected in large part to clean this mess up. It's the single most preventable national security disaster ever in our history, caused by the Democrats. And if they weren't talking about it, lying about it, they were silent. They were complicit in their silence, or they just went along with the big lie. Borders closed, borders secure, when we knew it wasn't. Look at the video on your screen. That was every day for 4 years. Now, let's look at how successful that ICE has been in Minnesota alone. This is all of these people that are threatening and inciting violence against ICE agents and hurling rocks and expletive at them. Look at all these unvetted Harris Biden illegals just from Minnesota that have been arrested by brave law enforcement agents, putting their life on the line. All federal law enforcement. Take a look.
Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today.
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
These ICE agents running around our communities like masked bank robbers, terrorizing women.
ICE federal agents pulling up, terrorizing our communities, hopping out of unmarked vans, stealing and, yes, kidnapping people.
An authoritarian government in Washington, D.C. is dispatching masked agents to abduct immigrants from our streets.
This is Gestapo-like behavior.
There should be no question to what our country will look like had the Confederacy won.
It does look like a Gestapo operation. Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
See all these people? Murderers, rapists, child molesters, other sex offenders, domestic abusers, drug dealers among them. It's all there on the DHS website. Look at all of them. That's Minnesota. And that's the thanks these agents get for risking their lives being smeared and slandered, called Nazis and Gestapo. You know, look, use a comparison. Now, Obama, April 27, 2015, CBS News reported, quote, ICE officer faced with threat fatally shoots 20-year-old man in Detroit. How many of you know the name of that man? That was 2015. Obama was president. Where are all the riots? Where are all the comparisons to Nazi Germany and Gestapo? Where was the dramatic social media posts as he was sending out mostly nonviolent illegals in the country? And when was the last time you saw a Democrat up in arms about the weekly shootings in Chicago? Remember Renee Good killed after she accelerated her car at that ICE agent and the shooting that took place? That was January 7th. Since then, 20 people in Obama's hometown of Chicago have been shot, and including January 18th, 7 people fatally shot in just 18 hours. Do any of you know any of their names? And we can show you similar numbers in L.A., New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, other major cities across the country. Where are the demonstrations for those lost souls? Where is the outrage? Does anyone know their names? No. Why? Because they can't weaponize and politicize those deaths in their lawless deep blue cities and states, their sanctuary cities and states, and they can't blame Donald Trump. So they say nothing and do nothing, which brings us back to the very reason that ICE exists, contrary to what Democrats would have you believe. Now, there are real victims of illegal immigration. Oh, we know some of their names, not most of them. Lake and Riley's. We know Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin. You know, raped, killed, criminal, illegal immigrants, unvetted by Harris, Biden, Mayorkas. Democrats, they didn't even stand up. They would not stand up and honor them when President Trump honored their families at a joint session of Congress speech that he gave. Every day, ICE is working to prevent more Americans from becoming victims, but it's not easy, is it? Dating back decades, there have been numerous ICE officials shot and killed in the line of duty. They don't talk about that. And now they are also forced to contend with an angry mob of frankly, stalkers that are being incited by so-called leaders in Minnesota, leaders in the Democratic Party. Take a listen.
Fucking fascist pig. You should fucking kill yourself. I hope your wife dies. I hope your mom and dad die. I hope everything wrong that could go in your life happens. I hope you have the most miserable life. I hope you get hit by a bus. You are a traitor to the American people, to the values that made our very country. You should kill yourself. You're fucking disgusting. I hate you. Everyone hates you. You're a fucking murderer, and all of your friends are fucking murderers, and your bosses are a bunch of pedophiles. Kill yourself.
So how did the mob get this way? Whipped into a frenzy by Democrats that caused the problem, lied about the problem, in many cases aided and abetted illegals with their sanctuary city and state policies, offering taxpayer-funded benefits they didn't deserve, refusing to cooperate with law enforcement whose job it is to enforce our laws, demonizing these brave men and women. In Minneapolis, left-wing agitators are now tracking ICE agent locations, stalking their every move, blocking their vehicles, assaulting officers, pelting them with rocks and bottles. Another ICE agent lost his finger, as we reported earlier. Why? A protester bit him. Over the weekend, a violent mob surrounded that and trashed that hotel. We've reported on that earlier as well. But as Fox News has been telling you, and as Fox News has been reporting, there might be more than meets the eye. According to encrypted messages that are obtained by Fox, we have organized far-left socialist, communist, Marxist groups are heavily coordinating ICE resistance in Minnesota with spotters who distribute detailed lists of possible ICE vehicles, license plates, real-time location of ICE officers officers to groups of agitators. In other words, what you see on TV in Minnesota may not be organic at all. In fact, ulterior revolutionary motives could be in play. So what can the Trump administration do to restore order while also deporting criminal illegals and making our country more safe and secure?
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.